Paddy Pimblett and Tom Aspinall absolutely humiliated Michael Chandler the other day on Tom Aspinall's YouTube channel. And we're going to watch a couple clips from it. And we're going to laugh about it because Michael Chandler, a.k.a. Dirty Mike, a.k.a. Mr. One Dude on his mind, a.k.a. get your candy ass back in the octagon because I want to get a cavity or two. I mean, this guy has just over and over and over again humiliated himself and debased himself. And, you know, I thought that Paddy Pimblett and Tom Aspinall crapping on him was rather funny. But then I saw Chandler respond. And it just got even worse, man. And some people call me a Michael Chandler hater. Listen, I'm just giving my opinion. I'm just speaking facts here. I don't think that's hating. I think hating is making up fake narratives to crap on dudes. I'm just speaking facts. And Dirty Mike is one of the fakest, dirtiest fighters in the UFC. And he's a straight up scrub who should be outside of the organization by now. But instead he talks. He talks as if he's some big shot in the UFC when no one gives a rat's ass about him anymore. So anyway, let's just jump into it. I want to start with this. This is Michael Chandler talking about Ilia Topuria ducking Arman Tsarukyan. This dude thinks he has a say in any of this. Like anybody gives a fuck about you, bro. Definitely not scared. Nobody wants that nothing burger of a fight, especially not the champ. Ilia realizes we are in the attention business. Nobody pays attention to the other guy. Bro, who do you think you are? Like, who is Chandler talking to? Look at his... look at this. Who is this guy talking to? He's 5-1 in his last 6 fights. Or he's 1-5 in his last 6 fights. I'm sorry, I just misspoke and gave him a way better record. He has 2 wins in the UFC. One is against the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson. The other is against Dan Hooker. Okay, fair enough. Luke KO. And he thinks he can speak on Ilia Topuria, Arman Tsarukyan. Like, yeah, man, this is the attention business. Chandler actually is deluded. His little dumb peanut brain mind with, you know, he's dead behind the eyes. He thinks more people care about him than Arman Tsarukyan. He doesn't actually believe that, right? There's no way. So, yeah, man, Ilia realizes we're in the attention business, man. Did you see me? Did you see me with Oliveira on my back, man? After I got dominated for the entire fight, even though I tried to cheat in the 5th round and get a finish, even though I couldn't. And I had Oliveira on my back, and I jumped in the air. And Kid Rock and Elon were giving me a round of applause, bro. I'm somebody around here. I already covered this in another video, but I just want to say this dude's a clown. Like, dude's talking about nobody cares about Arman and Ilia. Ilia Arman is a banger that fans actually do care about. There's some people saying, oh, we don't need to see it. Arman missed weight, this and that. But Chandler opened his mouth like, nobody cares about you, bro. I just think that's hilarious because nobody cares about him again. I mean, look at this. You know what? Let me just move this up. Look at this. Look at this, man. 1-5 in his last 6, and the only win is the dead corpse, rigor mortis corpse of Tony Ferguson after the scavengers had already picked his bones. And this dude is saying, nothing burger of a fight. Dude, Arman would literally mop you. But anyway, let's move on to this because we're going to actually get to a social media post Chandler posted earlier today that I saw when I was prepping this video, raring to go. And it may have been the most humiliating thing I've seen from Chandler on social media. Maybe not, because he said a lot of humiliating things. But let's listen to Tom Aspinall and Paddy roast Chandler with nothing but facts. I love it. I love it when guys actually speak facts, even when sometimes it's hard to hear. Listen to them talk about Paddy. Listen, I think this is Tom Aspinall talking about Paddy versus Chandler when people were acting like Chandler had a chance to beat Paddy, which I told you guys he didn't, by the way.
Yeah, and there was some talk about you fighting Chandler at the time. Obviously, he was fighting Oliveira. And I was watching him thinking, there's no way Paddy can lose to this guy. I just thought, I know a lot of people were saying online, like, oh, it's a tough fight for Paddy. I thought, easy fight for Paddy. And it was pretty
it was,
pretty easy.
Still off the 2 judges, give him the first round, lad. And Stephen all finished him, that still annoyed me.
No,
Yeah, it was an easy fight for Paddy. Everyone should have known that. Chandler has nothing. He just loads up, he squats down and throws a big right hand. And he has muscles because he lifts heavy weights apparently. And people act like, oh man, he's going to knock out Paddy. I told you guys Paddy was going to wreck him. I picked Paddy via finish. Chandler was good at one point in time, but it just was mainly predicated on his explosiveness and his power against guys who weren't as fast as him and weren't the elite of the elite. That's why he hasn't had the success in the UFC that some people thought he would have. And I love that Tom Aspinall was calling it out. It's like, look, Chandler never had a chance against Paddy. I was arguing with people in the lead up to the fight. I'm like, no way Chandler wins. He sucks. He has low fight IQ. He's jumping around with people on his back that does absolutely nothing because he's hoping to get cheered on. He waited around for Conor McGregor for 3 years. I don't even think it was the money. He wasn't getting pay-per-view points. I told you guys that. He wanted the clout that came with getting in there with Conor McGregor. And also, I think he had some type of homosexual crush on Conor McGregor, to be quite honest. That's what it seemed like. Let's jump ahead because they talk about Chandler's fight IQ. And I love how they habitually say, man, I don't want to slag on Chandler, but, but this, but that. Listen to this.
Oh, that's like some, I don't want to slag him off, but it's some like bad fight IQ.
No, that's what we said going into it, lad. Obviously, he's explosive, he's fast, but his fight IQ is not good.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Because he was like going...
Spoiler alert, by the way, his regular IQ isn't good either. He's just desperate for adulation. And he gets it in this weird, like, demolition derby way. Like, yeah, man. Him jumping on Charles, him jumping with Charles Oliveira on his back, like, he was so happy about it. He gave himself a participation trophy for that. He thought he was cool. He was like, yeah, man. Kid Rock, man, was out of his seat fist pumping, bro, when you were doing nothing. You weren't winning anything. You weren't doing any damage to Charles Oliveira. And he gave himself a participation trophy. He's one of the dumbest fighters on the roster. And I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. One of the dumbest narratives in the sport ever, especially regarding Michael Chandler, is, man, if Chandler fought smart, man. If Chandler fought smart. He's only had success because of the way he fights. If he tries to fight smart, he's getting picked apart by anybody. Imagine him trying to fight smart against anyone in the UFC, lightweight division. Oh, Gaethje would brutally chin him. Okay, Gaethje fought crazy against him and accepted that war. So did Dustin. They still both beat him. I think Dustin finished him via rear naked choke. But imagine him trying to fight smart against an Ilia Topuria. Look at what Charles Oliveira did to him, and Charles Oliveira isn't even in his prime anymore, in my opinion. He's just not smart at all. He's not smart at all. He's not smart in real life either. He's begging to fight Conor McGregor, a dude who's been found civilly liable, and he's begging publicly in an interview, yeah, man, I think it'd be really cool to get in there with Conor McGregor on my anniversary with my wife. What? Let's continue.
There, picking you right up off the floor, which gets a bit of a scream off the crowd, slamming you, and you were going...
Yeah, and getting
straight back up. I'm like, you could have saved half the energy and been on top.
And as soon, when he done that a few times, got back up, and then I jumped for the flying triangle and kicked him off me. And as soon as we separated there, when I kicked him off, I seen him go.
Yeah.
And I just knew he was fading already. You know what I mean? Started putting a bit more shots in.
No cardio. Exactly, no cardio. You can say, oh, he almost had the 5th round finish against Oliveira. He cheated for that. Okay? And his cardio isn't the worst ever, but he has all these explosive movements, especially early, and then really doesn't have the ability to get the finish late because he has no cardio. Or he's completely worn himself out where he can just barely survive in the fight, and they're calling it out. Oh, he just wants to get a pop off the crowd. That's all he's interested in? It's because he doesn't belong in there. So he's trying to get this cheap participation trophy moment, and I'm glad Tom Aspinall is calling it out. People are like, Joey, who are you, man? You didn't step in there. You didn't lace up the gloves, bro. Aspinall has, and he's saying the same shit.
You know what? It's weird because he's obviously like a really fit guy. But if you do a sprint for 5 minutes, no one's going to be fit, are they? That's what he does. He just goes out there. He throws from like here, swinging. Everything he does, he's picking up full blast. It's just...
How long have I been saying that? And I know this isn't some groundbreaking, an analysis, sorry. That's all he does is squat down and load up on the right hand. Like, why I oughta? And he telegraphs it every single time. That's all he does. And he's like lifting people up for some crazy slams to get some cheers from the crowd when it's really doing nothing because you're not able to cement the position at all because you're stupid as hell. Why are you even doing it?
It's mad for someone who has that many fights. I'm just surprised.
Like, again, don't want to slag him off because he's a nice fella. But
He is a nice fella.
When you look at his Instagram,
He's not nice. But I love how they're like, I don't want to slag him off. I think he would like if you slagged him off. I don't know exactly what slagged him off means. I think I know what it means. But the way it sounds, Chandler would like that, man. Chandler would like that quite a bit. But I like how they're like, yeah, man, I don't want to talk shit about Chandler. And then they continue to talk shit about Chandler.
the gram lad, all he does is hit pads and do S&C.
Yeah.
All he does. Hit
Old
pads,
school.
rope things, tyre flips, bike, ski egg, you know what I mean? He doesn't really do any MMA training, lad. Well, it doesn't look that way anyway.
You never know, do you? You never know
What was the
All Chandler cares about is his muscles. He's flipping tires, man. I got big muscles. I mean, look at him. Look at him. That's not the right build for an elite level fighter. Let's all be honest. He looks, I don't know. I mean, he looks like I don't even know what to call him, to be honest. He's just insanely muscular from lifting heavy weights, but it's all from flipping tires. Also, he can go in there and squat down and throw a right hand over and over and over again. Let's skip ahead. One more clip we're going to check out. This is just, honestly, Paddy just shitting on him.
And then it was just, as I say, I wanted to knock him out, to be honest. I wanted to knock him out because Gagey hadn't and Poirier hadn't. But I ended up putting a severe beating on him, lad. Like a dad beats a 7-year-old up, you know what I mean? Put the craziest beating on him ever. But
he pulled a Neil Magny in his prime versus his 7-year-old son. And I mean, that's the truth. He did beat him like a grown man would beat a 7-year-old if they tried. I mean, he dominated Chandler. It was a bad, brutal, career-altering beating. Luckily for Chandler, his career is already in the toilet, so it really doesn't alter it that much. But that's the type of beating that takes years off your career. And he showed up to the press conference with pre-scripted lines. Man, Jefferson County javelins, man. I'm going to break out these Jefferson County javelins, man. And he showed up and got absolutely dirted by Paddy Pimblett. Took life-altering damage. And Chandler, I mean, some people were picking him against Paddy, but if you actually knew how bad Chandler really was, especially at his advanced age, especially considering the fact he took over 2 years off begging to fight another man, you would have known that Paddy was going to absolutely wreck him. Now, that's the end of this YouTube video. Okay, this Paddy Pimblett, Tom Aspinall YouTube video. I'll link that video down in the description. You want to check it out. There's a little bit more in there if you want to go check out in its entirety. But Chandler decided to respond to this, man. He's mad that Tom Aspinall, I mean, think about how insecure you got to be to get all worked up over what Tom Aspinall said. You know, speaking the facts, he did humiliate him. But it's like, if you don't have nothing good to come back with, you probably should just shut up. And instead, he said this. Didn't that big goober say this like 3 years ago and then waited as long for John as I did for Conor and criticized me for waiting for Conor? Cool. What? First off, Tom Aspinall fought last July. He then got another fight this July. Now, he was never sitting around guaranteeing the fans he was going to fight Jones. Okay, he was being annoying with fight news coming soon. But to his credit, he was probably thinking that was actually going to happen. He didn't realize it was going to be strung out for so long. I mean, Tom Aspinall and Chandler, I've joked about them being similar in the past, but in all reality, they're not even in the same universe. Chandler sat around stroking another man verbally for years, for over 2 years. Begging to fight Conor and saying, yeah, man, Conor's romantic about the game. He went on WWE Raw and called him out. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall is saying, Jones is a duck. I want to fight Jones. I want to fight anyone. I just want to stay busy. I want to, be active in the heavyweight division. And then he has a fight announced within 12 months of his last fight. Rather than Chandler, let's take a look. This dude sat out from November of 2022 to November of 2024. That's insane. And he even said then he was willing to wait till the end of the year potentially. But then they just gave him Charles Oliveira and said, look, Chandler, he's not even fighting in 2020. I wish he was still waiting. I wish he wouldn't even take in these 2 fights. The slew of content I would have had off of that. But you sat out in your late 30s at lightweight begging for a literal crackhead. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall wanted to fight John Jones, who's considered the greatest of all time. And also he only sat out really for a year because he fought Curtis Blades last July. And then this July he gets a fight announced. And he's talking about fighting for the undisputed gold, not just fighting some crackhead who cheats on his 9-month pregnant wife in hotel rooms without consent, by the way. Just lost his appeal today. So don't even sit here and act like Tom Aspinall is in any way, shape, or form the same IQ as you, waiting around for 3 years for McGregor. Meanwhile, he waited basically 1 year for John Jones. I mean, what an absolute joke. But that's not it. That's not it. We have more. We have more. What do I even say about this, boys? Yo, at Aiden Ross, I'll go on your stream for less than 700K. What am I even... This is bad, man. This is really bad. Now, supposedly Hamzat Chimaev was offered to go on a stream or something. He said, give me 700K and I'll come on. And so now Chandler's like, man, I'll come on, man. I'll come on, man, for way less than 700K. And I'll give you anilingus. Bro, is this not human? Like, I need to know. If you're going to answer one question, let me know. Am I being too overdramatic, or is this humiliating, man? Like, dude's groveling to go on some Twitch streamers, some popular Twitch streamer or whatever the fuck he is. So be like, man, I'll go on for less than 700K. Yeah, you will. You're desperate for a dollar because you wasted your career in your late 30s. Tom Aspinall, early 30s in the heavyweight division. Meanwhile, you're in late 30s in the lightweight division on a multi-fight losing streak. Well, I guess at the time he was only on a one-fight losing streak, but you get the point. And now he's saying, man, Aiden, man, bro, hit me up, bro. I'll come on your stream, bro. This is really bad. Chandler needs to go get knocked out by Jake Paul or something. At this point, I think by next year, I'm probably going to box Michael Chandler in one of those freak show boxing events. And I'm going to flatline him bad. Okay, that's the fall off Michael Chandler's. I mean, really, is it a fall off, though? He's been irrelevant for years. So I don't know. But yeah, begging to go on another man, a grown man, damn near 40-year-old grown man begging to go on another grown man stream. Oh, man, I'll come on for less than 700K. Yeah, you will. You wasted your career, wasted multiple paydays, begging to fight a civilly liable you-know-what. Last thing I want to show you. Somebody tweeted to Michael Chandler, is so overhated but very underrated. Overhated? This dude cheats in every single fight. He says the corniest shit 24/7. He talks shit about dudes like Oliveira and says, oh, man, he's a quitter. He talks about, fighting Conor on his anniversary. He says nothing but praise about Conor 24/7, a man who doesn't even fuck with him. And he's very underrated. Underrated? What are we talking about here? But that's not even what I want to get to. He speaks the truth and mindset, real, honest, and powerful. In your comment lies the problem most have with me. He speaks the truth. This dude's a habitual liar. He acted like he didn't cheat in the Charles Oliveira fight. He also acted like he didn't take any damage in the Charles Oliveira fight in some delusional podcast interview he did afterwards. And real, honest, and powerful. Is honesty cheating, blatantly cheating, dozens of times in a single fight, and probably hundreds of times over the course of your entire MMA career? Is that real and honest? I don't think it is. And I don't think you're real at all. I think you're a fake ass bitch. That's the truth. This dude prances around pretending to be religious, or maybe he is, he probably is. But he acts like he's Mr. Holy, and then he gets in the cage and just brutally tees off on the back of another dude's head. I find that not to be real. I find that not to be honest. It is powerful, I guess. You're throwing some power shots to another dude's back of his skull. But yeah, and then he says, yeah, man, that's why everyone has a problem with me. Do you think anyone dislikes Chandler because he speaks the truth in mindset, real, honest, and powerful? Absolutely not. I don't even know what the fuck this gibberish means. Dude is a clown. Dude marches around like he's the role model of all role models. And in reality, he's fake. He's a cheater. And his name will forever be Dirty Mike. And I just wanted to do this fun video real quick. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I know some of you guys wanted this Michael Chandler video, so I had to give it to you, okay? It's late. It's late on Friday night. You know Chandler's got one dude on his mind. I'm getting out of here. Good night.